Hey guys, Victoria Paxton here. Thanks for stopping back to my YouTube channel, My Psychic Wife, My Psychic Life. Today I wanted to talk about a particular case that I had out near Annapolis, Maryland. There's a really historic church out there. It's like really rich with history. Anyway, I ended up going to this church to look at it because it was absolutely gorgeous, and there was a big cemetery around it. When I get there, I see this thing. You know, I'm outside looking in the window, and I see this thing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is that? You know, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Well, it was actually during the week, during the day, and as it turns out, there was a lady that works there, and so I started talking to her. She was like the clerical person, like the admin. So I started talking to her about it, and she said, you know, we've had this spirit here for years, ever since I've been here, you know, and it tries to scare me and the priests, and, you know, it's just, it just annoys us and does, you know, moves stuff around and tries to scare us all the time. But, you know, we kind of just try to deal with them. And, you know, and I said, well, you know, you have priests here. Did they, you know, try to get rid of the spirit or anything? And she's like, no, actually they haven't. You know, there's a lot of red tape and paperwork that has to be filled out. So anyway, I continued to go around this church and to look at the cemetery. And I was thinking about it more and more. And I was like, you know, I just need to go back to this woman and see if I can just go in the building. So I went in the building, and she gave me like a tour, and immediately I could feel this spirit. And I told her, I said, you know, he's right here. I can feel him. And she's like, yeah, he's always here. So she was under the impression that he was a demon, that he was possibly a demon. I even thought he was possibly a demon. But he was just showing himself as a demon to try to scare everybody. Anyway, when I started contact with him and communication with him, he opened up immediately, which any demons don't do that. You know, demons just want to scare the daylights out of you and hurt you. They don't want anything to do with you, you know, as far as communication. Sorry guys, it's like really hot out here. It's like in the 90s. That's why I keep wiping my face. Anyway, so turns out it wasn't a demon. It was a spirit, and the spirit unfortunately had been trapped there. He was buried in the cemetery there, and he was from that area, and I guess that was his church, and he was stuck there, and he didn't even know he had died. Apparently, after researching, he had died suddenly from, I believe it was a heart attack or a stroke possibly or something. Anyway, he didn't know he was dead. Like, he was just kind of there. So I explained to him that he needed to cross over, you know, he needed to get on with life and be happy, and, you know, which I was able to get him to cross over. But he had done a lot of damage, you know, as far as scaring people and moving things and, you know, just creating a ruckus for these people that were just trying to do their job, basically. 200 years? Yeah, my husband just reminded me, sorry. You know, one thing I want to explain is a lot of times when I have communication with the spirit, I forget exact specific details. Like, I don't forget the overall story, obviously, but I do forget exact details. And I think it's because I'm so open all the time that there's just so many spirits around all the time that I think it's just like a defense mechanism, you know, for me to be able to handle it all. Because number one, it's exhausting communicating with spirits all the time when they're right here inside of my head around me all the time, you know. But yeah, so this guy had been gone for like 200 years. So yeah, it was sad, you know. It's kind of heartbreaking because no one wants to think that their loved ones that have passed away are just lingering somewhere. You know, we all want to think they died and they're in heaven and, you know, they're living life and having a great time, you know. So that was kind of a really hard one. It was just really sad, you know, that all of his family members had been dead for years, you know, and he had just been lingering there. So, it was a good thing that I was able to get him to cross over, and I did speak to the woman after that, and she said that nothing else had happened. Everything was calm, and she said that had been the first time in, I think she said 30, 38, 39 years, something like that, she had worked there. So, yeah, so that's it. I wanted to give everyone my email address. It's victoriapaxton.psychic@gmail.com. If you want a reading, if you're having an issue and you think it's something I can help you with, feel free to email me. Be pretty specific in the subject line so it doesn't go to my spam file. But yeah, if you think you need to contact me regarding something, I'll be glad to try and help you. Thanks.